Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is CJ and welcome back to Exotic Nootropics. Today I'm going to be showing you one of the ways that we go about fertilizing our Nepenthes. With Nepenthes there are two main ways of fertilizing them. So you can either root fertilize them, which is by far the most dangerous way, and do not do that if you are a beginner. You need to do a lot of research before you start messing around with root fertilization. These are carnivorous plants. They get most of their nutrients through their pitchers. The other way, which is a lot safer, is through fertilizing via the pitchers. Now, one thing to bear in mind is if you over-fertilize pitchers, what will happen is the bottom of the pitcher down here will start to basically mold, and the mold will grow up the pitcher and just kill the entire pitcher. So it can shorten the lifespan of your pitchers by a long way. It won't kill your plant, or at least shouldn't. I don't know of anyone who's ever killed a plant by fertilizing the pitchers, but it's just not a good idea to do, right? You need to keep in mind that in the wild they will only catch a certain amount of insects. What's interesting with Nepenthes is, for some reason, they've got this mechanism of once they've caught enough bugs, they will then allow the rest of the bugs to escape. I'm not 100% sure how that works, but I have seen it in action. There's actually a channel on YouTube that put Nepenthes in with their ant farm, and the Nepenthes ate loads and loads of ants, and then it got to a certain point and then all of the ants could just crawl out. So very odd thing, probably worth doing some research if you're interested in that. But anyway, back to the point, we're going to fertilize via pitchers today. Now this is an Alba Imaginata Red, which we've just done a photo shoot with, so if you want to see that, go look at our Instagram. There's a lot of really cool pictures on this, very Christmassy themed. If we can get the autofocus to actually focus, which it's... The autofocus on this camera is not good. I will try and do it myself. Let's... Oh, no, it just can't focus at that distance because of the lens. Alright, well that would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it? Okay, so basically, we've got lots of pictures on this plant. Got a dead one right here, got a live one over there which looks like a kind of young live one, and then we've got another one here. So looking really good, and then we have another picture coming up just on the top over here. Now, over here we have a box of baby mealworms. These are used to feed basically all of our reptiles and amphibians. We also have Morio worms, which are like huge mealworms, which actually are way better for them. So these kind of now just get used for Nepenthes. The weird thing about these worms is that they can be left for months and months and months without food or water, and they're still alive, which is very odd and unnatural. But that is how it is. Obviously, the more you feed these worms, the more nutrition will go into the plant. So that's probably better if you feed them, but I basically just grab the small ones, pop one in each pitcher that comes out. So if there's a new pitcher, then I will grab one and I'll pop it in a pitcher. Clearly, if the pitchers are massive, then we use the large Morio worms that the lizards and the frogs eat, because they need more nutrition. So there's quite a few in here, so all I'm going to do is probably off camera real quickly, I'm going to grab one. I'm going to find a small one. I'm just looking at the picture size here. This is actually a really decent sized picture. So I'm just looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, I want a fattish one that's quite long. It's not a bad one. So we're going to grab this one here. This may be a bit, ooh. Wow, the focus on this camera is not great, but you can see it's a decent size one here. So we grabbed it with our tweezers. Now all we're going to do is we're going to lift we're going to see if we can just shove him in there. If he'll go in there on his own, then it makes it a lot easier, which he's going to do. There you go, boom, straight in, and that is a fertilized pitcher. That's now a live insect, which won't be able to get back out because the pitcher's large enough. If the pitcher isn't large enough, then something like a mealworm will just crawl straight back out. So you want a large enough pitcher. I would say the mealworm should be about half the size of the pitcher, at max. You don't want to cram the whole thing in, right? So if it's a really fat mealworm and the diameter is the same as the picture, just don't do that. You can also feed crickets. We do that on rare occasions now, but you can feed crickets and any other insects, basically. Anything that's alive, that's kicking, is a good thing to feed them. Right, so now we've got another picture here, another really nice and long one, and we're just going to drop one in there. So now we've put a decent sized one in that other one, so we're going to put a smaller one in this one. We don't want any escapees. So this is the one that I've grabbed for this picture, much smaller. See? And we're just going to try and coax him in there. Ooh, he doesn't seem to want to go. You may need to just grab them at a different angle if they don't want to go in. You don't want to damage the picture while you're doing this. That's always the thing that I'm most concerned about. So I just want to get his head in there, and then he thinks it's safe, and then down he goes. And that's it. That is a fertilized plant. Now I won't put anything else in either of those pictures. And once another picture comes out, I will probably look to fertilize that around 2 to 3 weeks after it's fully opened, because they need to be mature to stop the animals from actually coming out of them. When they're too young, then they don't have the teeth fully developed and all of that, so the insects that you put in, they can just crawl out, and then obviously there was no point in you doing that, and then you've got insects crawling around all over your Nepenthes enclosure, which is not ideal. So yeah, that is one method, and one of the main methods that you should be using as a young new Nepenthes keeper. Just fertilize the pictures. Be careful with how much you're fertilizing. I don't like putting pellets and chemicals and all of that crap in the pictures. I do fertilize using orchid fertilizer on the roots, but I will do another video on that because I heavily dilute it when I do that. One thing to note is the fleshier the animal, the easier it is for the plant to digest. So if you get silkworms or something like that, they're going to be way easier for the plant to digest. Mealworms are not ideal because they've got a hard casing on them. So you could actually snap them in half, put them in, but that's a little bit gruesome. It's up to you what you want to do with that. I just shove them in whole and then leave them to do whatever they need to do. Okay, I thought I'd just tack on to the end of the other part of the video about fertilizing Nepenthes via the pictures. I did touch on fertilizing the roots, so I thought, you know what, I need to make some fertilizer anyway. I'll just make it all one video. So here we've got our dedicated fertilizing bowl, right? Because I don't like cross-contamination. This is what I use to fertilize any roots of any plant. I actually use the same method with all plants that I currently have because it's safe and I am always worried about burning them. It's very simple and very easy to burn plant roots, and it is probably the worst thing you can possibly do to a plant, unless you get root rot and all of that. So, quite simply, this is what we use. This is Westland Orchid Feed. You can buy it on Amazon. The instructions, where are they? The instructions here say, pour into 1 liter of water. Because we have very, very delicate plants in Nepenthes and they are carnivorous plants, they don't want fertilizer on their roots really. I dilute it heavier than 1 liter of water. So in here we have, you can probably see the water just sloshing around at the top there. Where is the marker? Here. So you see 1,500 mil. This is way above that. So this is maybe 2 liters, just under 2 liters. So I'm basically doubling up the dilution so that it is safer for the plants. I'm not trying to go mad with it, right? I'm not trying to win a competition. These plants cost a lot of money. I'm not trying to ruin any of them. So all you do is you squeeze the amount that you need into the top, and then it gives you, oh, you can actually see that. So there you go. Oh, it's not actually all the way up, right? So all the way up, right? And then it just goes back down to the line that it's meant to be at. And then all I'm doing is I'm just tipping it in, but I don't really want to, God damn it, I don't really want to move the camera. I'm just going to tip it in, basically. So I'm just tipping it in the top. and that's it, done. And that is all the fertilizer in the rainwater. Then I pop my spray top on, which you can't really see. And then I will obviously shake it up, make sure it's fully diluted in there, and then I'll start spraying whatever I need to spray. I just do it as a watering, so just a normal watering. I don't then water again after with rainwater. I literally, if I need to water, there's a plant that's dry, I think it's ready to be fertilized again, I will just spray with this. I will not spray with anything after. This will be the water that it gets, and then when it dries again, it will just get rainwater again. I normally try and fertilize the roots around every month-ish, a month to 2 months. I try to do every month because they get a lot of waterings, because the way that I keep Nepenthes, they dry out really quickly. But people do it in very different ways. So if you have a much wetter material and you are not watering all the time, maybe you need that month to be 2 months or 3 months. It depends, really depends on your conditions and how you do things. So that is everything that I've got on fertilizing Nepenthes. If you have any questions, please ask. I would appreciate if you drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. My name has been CJ. This has been Exotic Nootropics. If you have any requests, please send them over. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.